But 10 inches of snow fell in New Orleans. It caught everyone off guard. Just like the massive industry shifts looming on the horizon, NADA 2025 exposed the brutal truth. If dealers don't adapt, they don't survive. We were there, we saw it all, and today we're breaking it down. Let's get into it. Kick us off, Danielle. What was your biggest takeaway coming out of NADA this year?
Wow, the biggest takeaway. Honestly, I think it's the fact that the dealers were super, super resilient when it came to this event. A lot of dealers, had cancellations. Their flights were all over the place. It was really challenging to get to New Orleans because of that massive snowstorm that they dealt with. So the fact that dealers that did end up making it there, that got there, they basically proved that they wanted to be a part of this event because of how important it is. And they really maximized their time there. So the biggest takeaway is that dealers are resilient and they will do whatever it takes to get there.
Yeah, I think similarly, the resilience is always something the community continues to share within the auto space. But I would say the energy was high. I mean, you can imagine many of those people that were there had a really tough time to just get there. But thankfully, mostly everyone I talked to or engaged with was there and happy to be there and highly engaged. I think the thing that is the biggest takeaway for our friends at NADA is they should probably take a similar look at the weather like the NFL does when they don't schedule it in a place that could potentially have snow. Because it seems that every time we've had NADA in New Orleans, we've had some interesting impact. So I think a big takeaway would be the city of Las Vegas and NADA should figure out a long-term strategy to ensure we don't run into these same challenges in the future. Unless global warming hits and it's a foot of snow in Las Vegas next year.
Yeah, honestly, that's a really, really good point. They definitely should go with cities that are a little bit warmer. That would, I'm sure, make everybody very, very happy. Okay, so for a story time, do you have any funny or crazy things that happened to you at NADA this year?
So yeah, one of the things that was really awkward is I get it, competitors walk to each other's booths, they want to know what you're doing, what they're doing, how they can compete with you, see the secret sauce. But there was this one team, I won't talk about the company, but they came up to the booth in trench coats and they were covered up and they were so tell us what you guys do and how you operate. And I gave them the story of our organization, how we do it. They were so do you do RV loans? And I'm just no. And they're do you work with power sports people? I was no, not yet. And then one of them moved their arms and their badge fell out. I was oh, you're with Redacted. And they were there's competitors. And I was it's okay. So it was just really funny to me because they were legit serious. And I guess they had trench coats on just because they wanted to be warm. And it was a scene out of Saturday Night Live skit, the way that they were acting and all that. And after it was all said and done, I offered them a job because I was clearly, you need to go somewhere where you don't have to do this type of espionage work. But that was the funniest interaction I had. That I will send this link to them when it's uploaded so they can remember how awkward you.
That is so awkward. I was worried that you were going to say that they opened the trench coat and flashed you. I was worried that was going to be what was going to come out of that. But okay, I feel a little bit better that you ended up offering them a job. So
I think I've heard a funny story that you were a part of. Maybe you can share that one and then another. So I heard that when everybody got to the convention, there was no food. So there was 2-3 hour wait for hot dogs. Danielle, tell us what your experience was waiting in line for hot dogs.
Well, yes. So we found out on the way to NADA that from a team member that was on site there in advance that a lot of the hotels and the area, the surrounding area had run out of food because the major highways had been closed off. So a lot of the big trucks that deliver all those things couldn't get in. So a lot of these restaurants ran out of food and basically in a Slack message let us know you guys better get some sandwiches and things ahead of time because when you get here there may not be any food. So we were kind of took it seriously. We're thinking yeah, we get there, I'm sure it's fine. Maybe she's exaggerating. We get there, literally we land. Every single restaurant in the New Orleans airport was closed. No, nothing was open except for just one hot dog stand, Lucky Dogs. And we basically waited in the line with 100 people and had a hot dog because that may have been the only thing that we were going to get to eat that night. So that was kind of our first impression getting into New Orleans, is like a hot dog and no food. So that was what we dealt with.
That is the most blasphemous thing, that the only thing available in New Orleans was a hot dog. But
all the things. In this segment, we're breaking down the biggest dealer challenges we heard at NADA. I'll tee up a challenge for Keishawn, and he's got 30 seconds to give his boldest take. Then we switch. Okay, your turn. Dealers have less access to credit.
I think that is very true. I think with many of the lenders that are maybe restricting their credit buy boxes or doing something less aggressive than they did when used cars were their highest value of all time, I do think dealers and consumers are feeling that pain. The used car market is down a bit, so that means values are down. So vehicles that customers are coming to trade in, a lot more negative equity, making the loan to values much higher. And in an environment where lenders are being a little bit more conservative this day, I do believe that's a challenge dealers are facing at its highest level right now, which is a mixture of consumer demand of expecting lower payments and expecting to be able to roll $5,000 in negative equity, but also lenders are restricting their exposure to some of these higher loan to values and older vehicles that are hitting the market. Okay, your turn, Danielle. Dealers are still facing low consumer demand for EVs, high inventory costs, and unclear incentives.
I don't know how I feel about this one. I think that there is a little bit more of a demand for EVs than what is here. Honestly, I think we've been seeing that has been increasing every single year. So that's still to be determined. But some ways that, dealers can kind of prepare for that is just to ensure that their staffs are very much so trained on everything that when it comes to EVs, so that they can educate their consumers when they're coming into the showroom and be able to help them with this purchase, because we're kind of out of the way now with those early adopters who've come in and they really want this. Now regular everyday people are now considering an EV as their next purchase. So we have to make sure that the staffs on the ground are ready. All right, here's the next one. Dealers are combating lower retail sales. What are some ways that they can help overcome this?
I think they have an amazing opportunity to overcome their ability to sell more units year over year. And it really all starts with technology. Maybe that's AI, maybe that's automation. I'm not 100% sure what the answer is, but I think a lot of value is still in that service aisle. You get so many customers that come to a dealership every single day to service their vehicle. And I enjoy the experience of going into a dealer, getting an email saying, hey, here's how we value your car, and there's a new car on the lot for you to purchase. That's really cool. But I think there's things that dealers can do more beyond that type of experience to ensure they can get customers in, whether that's social media, whether that's AI from maybe there was a customer that you sold a car to a couple of years ago. You haven't heard from them since. They haven't opened the email. Like, is there a better way that you can send them an offer via mail or email? Like, there's a variety of different ways that they can do that. But I do believe the most value that dealers will get is still in that service aisle. Okay, last one. Dealers see AI changing sales and service, but many don't know how to implement it effectively. What will you say?
Yeah, this is absolutely a major challenge that dealers are facing, because at the end of the day, dealers want to leverage AI to help with sales and service, but they don't know where to start. They don't know where to begin. And a lot of times even thinking about that kind of discourages them from even starting. So a lot of dealers that, we talk to, we really recommend partnering with a provider who's going to kind of help walk them through this process from A to Z, and B, let them kind of crawl, walk, run into it. So it's not that they have to come in and just completely change everything that they're doing at their dealership and use AI for that. It's just finding the areas in their dealership that can be automated, that could help things make it more streamlined, more efficient, ways that not replace their team, but help empower their team to be better. And ultimately, I think if they take those tips on, then AI is not something that's scary that they should be running away from. It's something they should be running towards, because it's not going anywhere. And it's something that's going to ultimately help them long term. So I think that that's something that every dealer can really leverage as they kind of move into more of this year. In our next segment, we're breaking down the biggest auto finance trends from NADA. Are they the future of the industry or just industry hype? Here we go. All right, here's the first one. Alternative credit scoring, hot or hype?
All hype. Like we have had this model for quite some time that every 750 FICO is created equal, and that's not necessarily true. So until we get to a more expansive view on credit and soon risk of credit, I think the number game it's a good one. It bundles people into a general bucket of credit, but it's not the best thing. It's not the hottest thing on the street that's really want to provide more access to credit just by a number. Okay, Danielle, this one's on you. Subscription-based car ownership, hot or hype?
I'm going to say it is fiery and hot because it is something that not a lot of people have had the opportunity to use, but I think it's going to continue to grow and evolve and be something that is kind of commonplace as we move forward. I've never personally had the opportunity to have a subscription-based car, but in the future, I could totally see that being something that I would be interested personally. Have you ever had one, Keishawn?
No, I have never had one. I don't think I'm interested in a subscription-based car ownership.
Okay, well, glad you gave your 2 cents on that. All right, next up. 96-month auto loans. Is it hot or is it hype?
It's all hype. And I say it's all hype because 96-month auto loans couldn't be worse for the end consumer and, quite frankly, the industry. Extended terms on high LTVs, cars that depreciate so quickly, just make it harder for that customer to get out of that car and into the next one. I think anyone that is marketing 96-month auto loans, good for you, but you have to understand the unintended consequences of growing a portfolio of 96-month auto loans. Like, think 96 months. You know what you were doing 96 months ago? No, you don't. So, like, that's a really long time to have somebody in the same car that's depreciating really quickly at a relatively high interest rate environment. Okay, here's the next one, and your paycheck is riding on it. AI-driven auto loan approvals. Hot or hype?
Very, very hot. Very, very, very hot. I think that this is the hottest thing ever. Everybody should be trying to partner with a AI-powered lender that can give auto loan approvals that way. And it's definitely something that is going to continue to be hot and hotter as more people find out about the benefits of it. So back to you, Keishawn. What about hydrogen-powered cars? Is this hot or is this hype?
It's all hype because I don't really know what it means. Like, it's harder to find an electric station to plug a car up to. Now I have to also look for a hydrogen station. And like, where do you keep hydrogen in your home? Like, it seems like really sci-fi of a thing, but I feel like hydrogen cars were a thing before EVs and they just never took off. So it's all hype. It's all hype. All right, last one. AI-powered F&I upselling tools. How do I, Danielle?
That sounds really hot. I think if like AI can help dealers upsell their customers into more products and, increase the back end profits, I think that's definitely something that's super hot. And if it could be done easier, faster, more efficient, more automated, super hot. I think that's very, very hot. I'm hot right now. All right, dealers, it's time for the Leadership Challenge. Here's how it works. We're out here breaking down the biggest events, toughest challenges, and smartest strategies to help you stay ahead, all for free. All we're asking is one simple thing. Hit that subscribe button on YouTube, then tap the notification bell. What happens if you don't? We'll just assume you're still handing out paper credit apps, and we'll tell everyone. But if you do, you'll join a community of forward-thinking dealers who are shaping the future of auto retail. So take the Leadership Challenge, subscribe to Leadership in the Dealership on YouTube, and let's lead the way together.
Not every booth at NADA delivered, but a few stood out from the rest. In this next segment, I'll be naming my top 4 booth picks in 4 different categories.
All right, so our first category is going to be Best Swag. So Keishawn, who won this category according to you?
Hands down by 6:30, Equifax won the Best Swag in NADA. Why, might you ask? Am I so passionately agreeable that they won? Because they gave away custom-made tennis shoes for anyone that stopped by their booth. So you had a choice of your own custom-made Air Force Ones, or you had your choice of custom-made Nike Dunks. And as a shoe guy myself, like, there was not a greater swag that you could give me at the NADA than a pair of new tennis shoes.
Yeah, that one's definitely pretty cool. Our next category is going to be the most interactive booth, the best hands-on demos, touchscreens, live experiences. In your opinion, who won this one, Keishawn?
So for those that don't know, NADA isn't just about like software providers or lenders or dealers being there. There are also things that are part of a dealership that are at the NADA booths. And one of the most interactive booths I found was the car wash install. So you go to a car dealership and they all have car washes. There was one sitting in the middle of the floor that you could just walk through and get the experience of the air blowing on you and all the things. So like that was my most interactive one. Like, sure, there's a lot of cool technology on there. How often do you get to walk through like a car wash without getting wet, obviously, and just go through that experience? So I thought that was my most interactive booth, and it was pretty cool.
That is cool. I've never been through a car wash without getting wet. So that's definitely one I should have tried. I didn't get a chance to because I was at our booth, but all good. All right. Our third category in this is this most realistic AI solution. So this would be a booth that used AI in a practical dealer friendly way. So who won this category for you?
You know, there was this amazing booth that had like the best real estate at NADA, and they had these teal chevrons, I think. I think they were called Upstart. They have a SaaS solution that provides affordable access to credit at each and every single dealership. And considering the state of the world, like, wouldn't it be great if consumers had more access to credit? So to me, that was the most realistic AI solution that was at NAPA.
I have to agree with that one. That one had some great real estate. All right, so our last category is a really fun one. So this is the most like over the top setup. This is the booth that went really big, for better or for worse. And in your opinion, kind of who took that to the next level, Keishawn?
So I'm going to give like a practical bit over the top, and that's like Cox Automotive, because every year, seemingly, they have 200 people on the floor, just full of real estate, full of iPads, full of screens and things like that. Like, great opportunity, but man, that is over the top with so many people and so much real estate of just, it's almost like a little small village in the middle of NADA that is Cox Automotive. But from a actual over the top, I have to go with the tallest booth at NADA, and I'm not sure of the company's name, but it was a company that was selling vehicle crates to dealerships where you can put the vehicle on top of this crate and lift it all the way up so that the vehicle can be seen 5 miles away. So there was this huge Cadillac Escalade that was in the middle of the convention center that they were promoting this project. So that was kind of over the top. I was like, I don't know too many people that are coming to NAD like, man, you know what thing I'm missing? A crank for a Cadillac Escalade. So that was my most over the top setup.
NADA 2025 had a lot of big moments. In this last segment, Keishawn and I are looking ahead and talking about the things we're looking forward to with NADA 2026. Keishawn, kick us off.
So the first thing I'm looking forward to in 2026 is a return to Las Vegas. I am thrilled to go to Vegas anytime, and to be able to go for NADA is always a great experience. I think personally, that's what I'm looking forward to. As it relates to the industry, I think one of the things I'm really looking forward to is just, I think there was a lot of excitement this year that was dampened because of the travel logistics. I'm really interested in seeing what a full year of full attendance looks like, considering how much has changed over the last 4 years, whether it's pandemic, you know, you had an election year, you've had a lot of volatility in the market and just production and lending. So I'm really looking forward to a full year, everybody being together. Then, you know, what are some of the things you're looking forward to in 2026?
I am, like you, also really looking forward to the fact that it's going to be in Vegas, because I just like the way that convention center is set up. I know my way around it. I can kind of cover the floor a lot quicker and easier. So I'm excited about that. But as it relates to like the industry, I'm also looking forward to, like, this year is going to be very interesting when it comes to tariffs and taxes and government, how that's going to kind of play a part with the automotive industry. So I'm curious, like, how that will play into the way NADA 2026 will look. But also, as we look at Honda and merger, I feel like that's going to be something really interesting that we will kind of be looking forward to as well. So a lot of big things kind of on the horizon, and ultimately it's just exciting. Kind of the second that 2025 NADA ends, the planning and everything that goes into the next year begins. So we'll all kind of be part of that journey and kind of building the story for next year.
Yeah, and I think I'll close with one thing I'm looking forward to next year. I think I would look forward to you being a speaker next year, Danielle, and like the energy that you always have at our booth and talking to our customers and our prospects. I hope to look forward to seeing you on the stage next year at NADA, just sharing your business acumen and your expertise and your passion for the business. So I think that wraps up what I'm looking forward to next year.
The auto industry is changing fast, and the dealerships that win are the ones that adapt. The insights from NADA 2025 aren't just trends, they're a roadmap. Take action, stay ahead, and lead the way. Until next time.